Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you to HealthifyMe Hangout session to the first installment. Well, if in case you've missed out on Rashni speaking about fitness and Shani speaking about the importance of running and Pragya speaking the importance of yoga, you don't have to worry. You can follow us on YouTube. Well, today we have HealthifyMe's nutritionist Ayesha Kauser with us today, who will be explaining us the importance of nutrition in one's life. Over to you, Ayesha.
Hi. So firstly, I'll be explaining about healthy eating guidelines. Okay. So healthy eating is not just about strict dietary limitations, staying unrealistically thin, or depriving yourself of foods you love. Rather, it's about eating, feeling great, having more energy, eating wholesome foods. Improving your outlook and stabilizing your mood. Okay. Eating right will also have profound effect on your mood. Okay, so that's about healthy eating. I will also be sharing certain tips, how to inculcate that in your daily routine. Okay, so to begin with, first step we have is set yourself up for success. So thinking about planning a healthy diet as a number of small manageable steps. Like first thing that you can do is add small, start adding salads to your diet. Okay, instead of making drastic changes, instead of making one big drastic change to your diet, you can take small manageable steps. Okay, so just by including salads to your diet, or including maybe some fruit servings to your diet. Okay, so and then wait until it becomes a habit, and then you can start introducing other healthier options in your diet. Okay, so that's how you set yourself for success. So there are a few other points under this. The next point would be make right changes. So when you're making right changes, first thing that you need to look into is figure out all the unhealthy foods that you've been eating. Okay, so and then find healthy alternatives for those foods. So once you find healthy alternatives, slowly try to shift from the unhealthy eating pattern to healthy eating pattern. Example, by replacing unhealthy fats such as trans fats into healthy fats. Okay, like including omega-3 fatty acid rich foods, or omega-6 fatty acid rich foods. Okay, and then replacing refined carbs to unrefined carbs. Like refined carbs are mainly from breads, okay, rice, and other refined grains, which are coming in from a lot of packaged foods. Okay, you can substitute this with unrefined foods like whole grains, including a lot of millets in your diet, like ragi, bajra, jowar, and a lot of other things. Switching back to all the traditional foods that we have been eating, and of late we've switched to eating a lot of packaged products, which are definitely not healthy.
Correct. Well, Aisha, I think I have a small doubt. Like, rather than a doubt, I think, we all have this question wherein, what we're supposed to be eating for lunch, what we're supposed to be eating for breakfast, dinner, etc. Right? So, yes, I have this one question, is there something that, we are supposed to ditch in 2016 when we are eating? And, or is there something that, we can embrace, some healthy products like, wherein which we have doubts, right? So I have this major confusion in life, what I'm supposed to be eating.
Of course, there are a lot of foods to discuss in that category. Okay, but before that, you have to simplify your diet. Okay, so rather than thinking about calories, you can just think about food in terms of color, freshness, varieties. If you have to choose a fruit, you can choose them and bring in a lot of variety of fruits in your diet, which will have different antioxidants. Different foods has different nutrients in it. So depending on that, you can start incorporating them in your diet. So look into the color, freshness factor. Okay, so that's how you can simplify your diet. And other than that there are a lot of foods in that category I just mentioned. So to begin with, we have bread. So if you're thinking to follow all the healthy habits or go healthier, you would need to first skip bread in that category. Okay, so breads are really unhealthy. It has a lot of refined products going into it, toxins, phytates. Now, these things will not let nutrients absorb in our body. Not just that, but it also contains a lot of corn syrup and trans fats too. Okay, so if you're trying to, you can ditch this food and include a lot of whole grains, like I told you earlier. You can get back to all the traditional foods. Okay, like introducing ragi in your diet, which is not just good in one particular nutrient, but it has a lot of nutrients in it. Like it is a good source of iron, protein, calcium. It has healthy carbs, which are complex carbs, gives you the feeling of satiety. okay, stays in your stomach for a longer time. So you'll end up eating less food in your next meal. So that's one thing. Okay. And the second food under that would be yogurt. Yogurt, that's a fancy name. Yeah. Okay. So otherwise, generally it's curds, right? So it's widely accepted, and we generally recommend all our clients to eat that. But the problem occurs when flavored yogurts or reduced fat yogurts, find way onto your spoon, right? So that's when the major problem occurs. So instead of having reduced fat or flavored foods, flavored yogurt, you can stick to plain organic yogurt. Okay, of course. So what happens with flavored or fat-free yogurt is when they're trying to reduce one component, they have to introduce another, maybe they'll have to introduce something into it to keep up that taste, to balance that taste. So what they usually do is that something is usually sugar. Okay, if not, in the worst case, it is artificial sweeteners, which is even worse. Okay, so they include these two things. So instead of that, I would recommend you guys to just have organic plain curds or yogurt, and let it be full fat. Okay, in fact, the amount of fat that is present in yogurt and milk is very much required for the vitamins, minerals, and fibers to get absorbed in our bodies. Right? So without this fat, which is a healthy fat, none of these other nutrients will get absorbed in your body. So which is very much important to go in for organic or natural healthy fatty foods.
Okay. So by this, I
We do
understand
have
that.
a lot of other food products in this country, like apart from yogurt, soda, Diet Coke, or I don't want to mention specific brands, but soda in general. We generally know that it's bad for health. Still, people regularly consume it, right? So be it regular soda or a diet soda. Okay, so here the whole idea is not to look at the calorie content. It might be low in calories, okay, but the quality of food is just really low, right? It has nothing in it. Okay, so we need to introduce, instead of diet soda or something, we can just stick to having normal water. Or these days we have, there's a lot of thing about detox water. Okay, which includes, putting some cucumber, mint, garlic, etc. These superfoods, and leaving it in the water overnight. And you can keep sipping on that water the next day. Okay, which is much, it'll help us flush out a lot of toxins in your body that way. And it is also yeah. Yeah, people, those who who are looking at quit smoking, can switch to this, and it'll help you in detoxifying your body, because during the process when you've been smoking for ages or very long period, you must have your body must have had a lot of toxins by then. Okay, to get rid of those toxins, you can switch to this detox water. Yeah, and the other products, apart from bread, yogurt, we have conflicts. Yeah. Okay. I think it's like the staples of these days. The majority of crowd associate healthy cereals or healthy breakfast to complete breakfast to conflicts with milk, which is so not true. Okay. The odd thing here is, see, breakfast is healthy. You need to go in for complete breakfast to jumpstart your metabolism. Okay. But having associating healthy breakfast with the conflicts is so not a good idea. Okay, because the base ingredient in cornflakes is corn. Okay, the other major ingredients are high fructose corn syrup. Okay, so these days it's very important to read labels, when, especially for the packaged foods. So when you're looking into the labels, ensure that you look into certain names such as high fructose corn syrup. Okay, or malt flavoring. Okay, so you can look into these things and then analyze or assess yourself that whether this product is doing any good for your body. Okay, so since the basic ingredients are so refined products, and it is also a very low protein product. Okay, generally we're supposed to be eating a lot of a good protein. Protein should be in perspective. Okay, so you need to put that like the first thing in your diet. So there's this thing called PFC, so protein, fat, and carbohydrate. This needs to be completely balanced. So if you balance that, your meal is complete, right? So you can go in for healthy options like healthy orange juice, or you can offer dosa layer of ragi or whole wheat idlis, rava idlis with a lot of vegetables added to it. So these are the options that you can switch to.
Well, there was like a whole lot of information about what we're supposed to eat and what not, right? So, Aisha, is there anything else that you would want to discuss? You would want to give us information regarding nutrition?
So another product I would add on. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's Tetra Pak juices.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody is going in for these Tetra Pak juices. They put up the tagline as real fruit juice, which is not so real. Okay, first thing is the reason being that it undergoes intensive chemical and heat treatments. So when the packing is amazing. It prevents from a lot of the growth of microorganisms. That's definitely there. But what's happening to the quality? What's happening to the nutrient content of the food? It's definitely deteriorating. Okay, so when they're undergoing a lot of chemical and heat treatments, the vitamins and minerals get destroyed. That's the first thing that happens. And the second reason is that the fiber, the whole juicing process, loses. It removes the fiber content of the food. So, for example, a person, if he has to go for a whole fruit or a juice in general, be it not a Tetra Pak juice or any normal juice, okay, fresh juice too. So, a person can eat one full apple, okay, and would be full, would feel full, gives you the feeling of satiety. But when it comes to juices, a person can include or drink a juice of two apples too. So you can understand from there. Okay, so the fiber is already lost. The fiber content from the fruit has been lost. So that's why you're able to take in more. So eventually you're trying to put on more calories. There's more fructose going in, right? Rather than other vitamins and minerals. Okay, so that's one important thing. And antioxidants. Antioxidants are the first thing that gets destroyed when when the product is exposed to light.
Okay. So yeah, I see a lot of things here. So is there something that you can tell about, unmasking or masking about Indian food items that, we generally don't realize, right? So could you explain something about these Indian foods as well?
Okay, sure. So these are, we've been talking about a lot of foreign superfoods and getting into and spending a lot of money. We go to supermarkets, we're looking for foods, these foreign foods, especially quinoa, kiwi fruit, etc. Okay, so there are a lot of foods to name about, but here I'll be unmasking some Indian superfoods. Okay, so these foods are these are available in our kitchen, but we kind of like ignore them, thinking they're not so important in our diet just because of the hype that is created by foreign food industries. Okay,
Yeah.
so firstly, so let's talk about bananas.
I think banana is like the most commonly available fruit that anybody can see.
So they are really they provide instant energy. Okay, so they have about say 100. They give you about 105 kilocalories. Okay, that's like good amount of energy to get. Okay, and it's a good source of potassium, fiber, a lot of other vitamins and minerals too. And it being a very good source of potassium, it can be had before workout, right? So because it helps in muscle contraction. Okay, so it can be had like half an hour or 15-20 minutes before workout. Okay, so you can do that, and yeah, so it's a very good source of fiber too.
Nice.
So one can consider having this before workout, and it's a very good snack to have.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
So all you need to do is it's pretty easy. You just need to peel it and eat it, and you can blend it with milk to make it a protein-filled smoothie.
Yes. So it's almost like a protein shake. That
Yeah, you can make that one too with balancing carbs and proteins in that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is there something like I would want to know about carrots?
Carrots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we all know that carrots are a rich source of vitamin A. Okay, they are invaluable source of vitamin A. There's a lot of it. Okay, and it gives you about say 30 calories per carrot. But around 30 calories per carrot.
Okay.
That's it. They're very low in calories, but if you look at it, it is a very good source of vitamin A. okay, and a lot of other vitamin B. So you get, it's a very easy, yeah, you can opt it, easily. You can just take it, have it during your snack time, mid morning or evening snack, add them to your salad. Okay, so yes, it's about carrot.
Okay, I see a lot of stuff. Actually, carrot looks so delicious. I just wouldn't mind picking up and eating it. Lemons. I've heard a lot about lemons, but then I would want you to clear my doubt for this.
Okay, so lemon is featured as a detoxifier in all the, in all the detox diets, right? So that's like the basic thing. Instead of adding on a lot of salad dressing, which are really high in fat and all those, you can just go for lemon. You make a lemon juice. It takes very few minutes to make a lemonade out of these lemons. So yes, you can go for it, and then yeah, add some. You can squeeze it on your salads. So it's a well-known detoxifier plus a fat burner too.
Nice. And what about beetroots?
Okay. So talking about beetroots, historically, yes, this is also known as a well-known detoxifier and blood purifier too. So these are very rich in vitamin B, or most of the vitamin B, fiber, and also especially manganese. Okay, it's a good source of manganese. So yeah, when it also helps in absorption, or not absorption, but it has some amount of iron in it. So yeah, the iron gets absorbed, and yes, if you go with a if you offer a plant source, and you can squeeze some lemon onto it, the iron content in this beetroot gets easily absorbed. Because if you're taking it in combination with vitamin C, which is lemon, or any other vitamin C product, and a plant source which is giving you iron, okay, in combination, it will the absorption rates are high.
Wow. Okay. It's like amazing stuff to hear. I also see few grounds here. I see ginger and turmeric. You see? This is ginger and turmeric. Well, why is this ginger and turmeric here?
Okay, so this is like the basic thing we generally, it's like a must-have thing in all our cooked meals, and not just our cooked meals, but we can blend it with other drinks like, we can have haldi and milk, which is also called as golden milk. Okay, yeah, Indian version. Okay, so yeah, you can add it. It has antibacterial properties, anti-inflammatory properties, and ginger. Yes, of course, ginger is also known for, it has anti-inflammatory effects and a lot of antioxidant antioxidant powers, right? So with that, you can it also, since it has anti-inflammatory effects, it helps in expanding the blood vessels. Okay, and so usually what happens is when pressure builds up, or pressure is built up in the vessels because of a lot of other factors which causes hypertension. So the arteries get narrowed. So when you add certain superfoods, which will have good effects on your medical condition. So what happens here in the case of hypertension is the arteries will get expanded a little bit, so that the blood circulation becomes easier. So because it has certain compounds in it, which will help in expanding these arteries and allowing the blood flow to happen easily. So that's about turmeric and ginger. So ginger, it's also it relieves you from digestive discomforts. Okay, so you can add them you can add them in your buttermilk, or grate it, or just add it to your salads, which will give good taste as well.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so what would you want to pick next?
Yeah. So next we can talk about the moon. Okay. So moon, yeah. So we know it has superb amounts of protein. Moong dal, superb amount of protein in them. It has around 14.6 grams of protein. Okay. So with that, when you sprout it, it becomes the digestive value of it gets absorbed easily in the body, and according to the recent studies, it says that the vitamin content of the sprouted dal becomes 20 times more. Okay, so that's about moong. So make it a habit to include them regularly as an evening snack. So not just with this dal, you can include a lot of other dals which are rich protein plants sources.
Okay. So basically, all dals are a rich source of protein.
Yes, exactly. And then we have spinach. Okay,
Yeah.
it has negligible amount of calories, right? So yeah, with spinach, apart from talking about the calorie content, it is a good source of calcium, iron, a lot of B vitamins and minerals. Okay, and it's one thing that which can be added to a lot of Indian, into Indian cooking. Okay, so you just need to blend it with curds and have it, boil it, steam it, include it to a lot of salads. Yeah, blend it with curds as well, and then it goes along with it goes along with fruits as well. So you're planning to make a green smoothie, you can add varieties of fruits to it, and then you can add some spinach, right? So yes, with spinach, and it is a great source of fiber. So like I told you, I mentioned earlier also, superfoods are which are nutrient dense. Okay, so it is a powerhouse. It has a lot of antioxidants in them. So since it has a lot of antioxidant property in them, it helps in subsidizing a lot of medical conditions. Like it just get, I wouldn't say like reduced completely, but yes, regulates a lot of things.
Nice. That's a lot about spinach. Right. So
Yeah. So yeah, next we have cabbage. Okay, like we all know, cabbage has it's a known curative powerhouse. Okay, it gives about 22 calories per cup. Okay, so it is a good source of fiber. Again, it is a good source of a lot of vitamins and minerals too. So with yeah, so we can it finds its way as in detox diet. So you can go about you can steam them, you can have it, and you can have your salads and a lot of other things. Okay, so one thing about this thing is you can take out these leaves outside, and so that to prevent dirt and pesticides and include the internal part of it. Okay, into your salads.
yeah, there's one last thing that I would want to actually ask.
One last thing, but certainly not the least. It's almonds. Okay, almonds are a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, which like we all know, it created a lot of hype about it. But yes, the hype is so true. You need to be consuming them like almost every day. Around 6 to 7 would do good to your body. Okay, so you can include about 6 to 7. Okay, you can soak it and have it to increase the digestibility of almonds. But even if you're not soaking, that's okay. Doesn't really have like that great effect on almonds. But yeah, you can have about 6 of them in a day as snacks, and then it is a good source of omega-3 fatty acid. It helps bring your HDL high and brings your LDL low.
Nice. That's really nice about almonds, right? Well, thank you, Aisha. I mean, like, this is like a whole lot of information that you could give our viewers today. And ladies and gentlemen, if in case you have forgotten or if in case you missed out on this, we have this something called as the no fail resolution. Who doesn't have resolutions in this year 2016, right? I have resolution where I would want to intake more of fruits in my diet. So, and this is going to be a no fail resolution for me. All you have to do is just log on to our www.healthifyme.com/no-fail and just give out your number and your contact details and your name and tell us whom you would want to consult. A fitness expert, a yoga expert, or a nutritionist. And we will fix you, rather, we will schedule you a consultation call with your desired expert at your comfortable time. And well, for those of you who are watching this video, the Hangout session, we have exclusive 30% off, that is 30. So 30% off on all the pricing and plans that we have available on HealthifyMe. And let me tell you, you can use DIET30 and enter this coupon code. For the next 2 hours, you can avail this 30% offer. So Aisha, do you think this 30% offer is like a great deal for them?
Of course. It is a big deal, in fact. Okay, so the first thing is if people have got on to their resolutions, which is totally related to weight loss or including exercise regularly in their diet, the first thing that they need to do is get support. Okay, get support from health coaches. Yeah. So that's the best thing that they can do.
Yes.
Okay, and we will help them get onto their get their goals.
Yes. So with HealthifyMe, if you have a question, we have an answer. Also, we will be having the Q&A session very shortly. And Aisha, well, this was like a lot of information. In fact, I was educated a lot about, I was in fact wanting to know about almonds and lemon especially, right? So because these are like so commonly found food. Thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, let's have the Q&A session. If in case you have a question, please drop it to us in the below box and just type it to us and send it out to us. And we will read out your questions. And we have Ayesha, our nutritionist from HealthifyMe, who can answer all your questions today. Aisha, is there something else that you would want to take interest in telling them about any food items or anything?
Okay, first thing that I told earlier, I mentioned this earlier about reading labels, which is at most important, right? So when we're going, I would suggest, recommend people to go in for minimally processed foods, or going for wholesome food. Okay, that's what I was hinting at earlier also. So, but if you're opting for any products which is packaged, go in for read the labels. So look at the nutritional and nutrient content of each food. Okay, looking for certain names like I mentioned it earlier also, like high fructose corn syrup. Okay, if the product contains a lot of this, please do not go in for that. Okay. And then, that's about reading labels. You can looking at the sodium content of it. People who are hypertensive, ensure the sodium content being really low. And when it comes to a lot of packaged food, they are rich in they contain a lot of sodium. So it's good to not go in for that.
Okay, so we have one question from Mr. Vivan Jaiswal. Okay, so he asks, can you tell I have thyroid problem and not able to lose weight easily and mostly high protein irregularity? So what can I eat and when to complete my protein intake?
Okay, so protein intake, he can go in for, thyroid is mainly associated, it's a hormonal issue. Okay. So what happens is the body's metabolism lowers. So he needs to be concentrating on improving his metabolism. It is quite obvious that people with hypothyroidism, you feel that the weight loss is going nowhere. Okay. So but then if you incorporate exercise and include some wholesome foods, and talking about protein, yes, of course, you can go in for dals. Okay. And you can go, the plant-based protein is, it's a good idea. So you can include them over non-veg. Okay, but if weight loss is your main goal, then you will have to incorporate both exercise and diet and balance it, and just avoid foods which are high in goitrogens. Okay, so with that you will be able to not just balance your diet, but you will be seeing a change in weight as well.
Okay. Well, Mr. Vivan, I think your question was answered. Well, I think we have a similar question from Uma HS as well. Okay. So she says, please give me some good, yummy source of protein for pure vegetarians. Which she doesn't even want to include egg, right?
Okay, so there's this thing about vegans or vegetarians, saying that their protein requirements are not met, which is so not true. Okay, earlier people never complained about saying that their protein requirements, being vegetarians. Also, we never faced such questions saying that the protein requirements are not being met. The reason because there was a lot of variety in the diet. Okay, they were including a lot of millets. Our cereals itself, they are, they contribute good amount of protein. So when you're combining good cereals, healthy carbs, which are coming in from whole grain cereals, millets. Okay, so there's ragi, there's bajra, there's jowar, there's there are a lot of other products. You can, in fact, if you're going in for just whole grain, a wheat chapati, you can add a lot of these other grain, make it multi-grain at home, and combine it with dals. Okay. Dals and other subsidies. Okay, with a combination of this, if you have a combination of these, definitely your protein intake will be met. Okay, that's one thing. And we also have dairy products. Okay, you can go in for milk. We have paneer. Then we have, yeah, apart from this, we have nuts. We have nuts and dry fruits. We have apricots. We have almonds, walnuts. All these are really good source of protein. So it will not just help in giving you protein, provide sufficient protein to your diet, but also will have good effects overall. Okay, so if you're taking a combination of cereals and pulses, definitely all your essential amino acids or the amino acid pool will be completed. So that way you're receiving good amount of protein.
Okay, there's this one question that I'm also interested in. So what's your opinion on a fruit fast? Once in a while?
No, I wouldn't suggest that at all. So it's so when you're just focusing on fruits, you're including a lot of just this fiber content and carbs. Okay, carbs, again, sugars basically. The natural sugar coming in from fruit is fructose. So if you're just having that, your body's metabolic rate goes down. Okay, it slows down, and then the next meal or whatever that you will be having after your diet or your whatever crash diet, the detox diet or whatever you've been following, okay, the food gets accumulated as fat, or the body's ability to burn calories reduces because the body's metabolism goes down. So it's recommended to include a wholesome food coming, which has good amount of protein, carbs, and fat, everything coming in together. So fruit, see, it can be had as a snack. So it's an ideal snack, in fact. So you can include it as snack options and not combine it with your meals or not club it with your meals, but have it as a good snack option. Okay. So when something has to be combined with your meals, I think that's the best carb or starchy carbohydrates will be vegetables.
Okay. So I have this one more question. I think most of them will be interested in this. So he says, putting on some muscle is something I want to do this year. Please run me to the do's and don'ts when it comes to eating. Protein being the main focus, I presume.
Okay, so for putting on muscles, two important factors, like again, be it gaining muscles or losing weight or anything, it's exercise and diet. So if a person is exercising, adequately, only then, and having good amount of protein. So you need to be concentrating on your post and pre-workout meals. Okay, keeping in mind that all your meals have good amount of protein in them. So if you're a non-vegetarian, go in for a lot of lean meats coming from fish, chicken, yeah, and a lot of meats, like all the non-veg sources can be included, but kind of we just keep away the red meats. You can occasionally have them, and more of include fish or chicken.
Okay. So we have another question from a person called Sindhura. Well, can you comment about usage of whey for women? Is it harmful in any way?
Okay, now this is really controversial. So we dietitians and nutritionists don't really believe in giving, supplements coming from these concentrated sources. Okay, so it's all about getting protein from natural sources. If you're, so when we kind of like know your routine, your diet pattern or your 24-hour recall, we would be able to assess it better, saying whether your protein requirements are met or not met. So depending on that, if you're a vegetarian and if your food isn't giving you sufficient protein, then it can be thought about giving you whey protein or not. Okay, if you're a non-vegetarian, definitely you can get it from you can get some good quality protein coming in from non-veg sources, of course. And it's all about, like I've been telling from the beginning, it's all about balancing your meals, including all the foods, bringing in varieties to your diet. Only then you will be able to get good protein in your diet. So whey is again, it's like only after assessing your diet, after assessing your 24-hour recall, I will be able to suggest whether to give whey protein or not. Okay, so yeah, so other than that, if you're just having whey protein just because it's too much in the market and there's a lot of hype again created about that, you can, it's going to be really detrimental for your health. Right, short term or long term, it's going to be detrimental for your health. So try to get a lot of protein from natural sources than having concentrated sources coming in from whey. What is whey? Whey is nothing but it's a milk concentrate. It's that white colorless liquid which is coming out of milk, right? So you can take.
Yeah. So one last question. Is peanut butter and hummus good option to include in the diet during weight loss?
Yes, of course. So peanuts are really good source of protein, right? And they also have a lot of unsaturated fatty acids. So you can healthy fats. Okay, you can go in for that, and it will complete your protein intake. And that's one good option for vegetarians to go in for. Okay, so if you're a vegetarian and if you still think your protein intake is not met, then you can include a lot of nuts, and one of them can be peanuts. Okay, or peanut butter. You can make peanut butter at home itself, right? And what was the other thing? Peanut butter and hummus. Yes, of course. It is made of a lot of sprouts. Okay, you soak dals overnight and you make it. Of course, it is really healthy. And you can add when you're making it at home, you can add healthy oils like olive oil or any other healthy vegetable plant-based oil. Okay, which will give in again good essential fatty acids. These essential fatty acids are mainly, it's not synthesized in our body, but we need to take it from an external source. So we can get these healthy fats from these sources.
Okay, well, if in case you've dropped us a question and if your questions are not answered, never mind, you can call us on the toll-free number that is there on our website. Okay? Well, number would be 1-800-300-23184. You can also find it on our website, and that's toll-free. You can await a free consultation call with the HealthifyMe experts today. And also remember, a short notice again, we have DIET30. That's the coupon code, 30% discount available for the next 2 hours only. So guys, just open the next tab, go on to www.com. www.healthifyme.com/pricing. You can find all our plans and pricing, and you can get 30% off on all our pricing. So make it fast. Okay, so I don't feel like ending this session. Can we have like 3 more questions, please, Ayesha? Would you mind? I mean, please go ahead. Yeah, I would love to answer those. Yes. So we have one question which says, juice cleansers are all in the rage now, right? So do you recommend it, or does it really help to detox?
Okay, so firstly, I'd recommend going in for a whole fruit than going for any of these juices. Okay, so you can, if it's a fruit juice cleanser, then you can go in for a whole fruit instead of having these juices. But if it's there are a lot of other juices these days like wheatgrass, aloe vera juice, and amla juices. Yes, definitely you can go in for them. They're really good. They help you. They're a good source of a lot of vitamins like vitamin C. Amla is a good source of vitamin C. So you can have that. Okay, which will give good amount of antioxidants to your body. You can have it early in the morning, or you can have it before going to bed.
Okay, that's nice. Some other informative tips that you can give out to our viewers today?
Okay, so the most important thing that I would like to discuss is about focusing on what you eat. Okay, so first thing is your stomach is your diet guru. Okay, so it's like a homegrown diet guru. Okay, so you need to listen to your stomach first. So there are 3 steps that you need to follow: listen, reflect, and assimilate. Okay, so when you're having your food, listen to your stomach. So until it's like you just can't keep gulping down a lot of food. That's what has been happening. We're landing up into something called as mindless eating, because we've been eating while we're working, right? So we need to see, food is a blessing to us. So if you're following a mindless eating, sitting in front of laptops, TVs, and having our food, it is definitely the mindless eating, and we are unworthy of this blessing, right? So we need to concentrate on, you dedicate some amount of time on eating food. Okay, so eat that while we're eating our food. So listen to our stomach. So it gives you a feeling of satiety or feeling of fullness. So until then, and then reflect back to it. Okay, reflect back, and then you can assimilate that information and stop eating right then. So portion controls and all are very outdated these days. So it's within you. You listen to yourself and stop eating right then. Okay. So it's like, for example, if your stomach says, if your stomach is, listen to your stomach. If your stomach says 2 rotis and you're done for the day, you reflect back. So my stomach saying it's just 2 rotis. I cannot eat beyond that. Okay, I'm not allowed to eat beyond that. Okay, then you assimilate that information and stop with that 2 rotis. So that's how you can do it. You can do portion control, and you can lose a lot of weight.
That's nice. Well, something about fiber. I mean, I know that protein has been like really important source for any human body, right? So, what role does fiber play in one's life?
Okay, fiber is very important, like we all know. Yeah, exactly. So, so with fiber, yeah, so it's considered to be like it's the insoluble part of the carbs, the cellulose, pectin, etc. Okay, these are fibers. Okay, so we have insoluble fibers in that. So what fiber basically does is add. It's a roughage, right? So it adds bulk. Okay, and it will give you a feeling of satiety. So it leads to delayed gastric emptying. So we know that so these days people are going in for a lot of refined products. Okay, refined products. So the outer brand, right? So there's this. If it's a wheat grain, okay, the outer covering or the outer brand is removed, so which makes it refined. So the fiber content is lost there. Okay, so that's why we focus or we emphasize on eating a lot of unrefined products. Okay, so that the fiber remains intact and we consume good amount of fiber, so that it delays gastric emptying. So we do not land up eating a lot of food in our next meal, so it's ideally we're supposed to be eating every 2 to 3 hours. So that's like that's when you can maintain your metabolism, right? So if you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, so ensure that your major meal, like the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, does have a good amount of fiber coming in from starchy vegetables. So these, like I mentioned, these superfoods here, most of them are a good source of fiber. So you can think of including one of these, okay, and will add on good source of fiber to your diet, and will prevent, will relieve constipation, and relieve a lot of things, and removes a lot of toxins, does not inhibits in cholesterol synthesis in our body. So that's really important. So it interferes with cholesterol synthesis. It does not let one of the factors to bind and synthesize cholesterol in our body. Okay. So it's the bile juice is taken out by so bile juice is the juice coming in from the liver. Okay, so it's just being taken out, which helps in synthesis of cholesterol. So if it's taken out, the synthesis of cholesterol reduces there.
Right. Well, one more vital thing. I mean, nobody can survive without water. Right. So, like, what role does water play, and is drinking water with meals bad?
Drinking water with meals, so you can just, gulping down a lot of water with your meals is really bad. Okay, so just focus on getting good amount. That's the time you need to focus on eating nutrients. So water does have like minute amount of minerals in there. Okay, which see basic function of water is to flush out those toxins from our body, which regulates all the other which regulates our body temperature, regulates blood, etc. There's a lot of functions that we've been studying from third grade, and we've been studying about what a lot of we get day-to-day information. So ideal time to have water is just when you wake up, okay, and you can have 30 minutes before your meals. Okay, because so when you're drinking a lot of water 30 minutes before your meal, it kind of takes up some room in your stomach and curbs your appetite. So you will end up eating a little less for your next meal. So 30 minutes would be an ideal thing to have, but in between your meals, you can just sip a little to lubricate for the peristaltic movement to occur smoothly. Okay, so yes.
Okay. Moving on, we have another question. So he asks, like, can you suggest some good pre and post workout food?
Okay, so pre-workout, you can go in for bananas. Okay,
yeah,
or a glass of milk. Yeah. Okay, would be an ideal thing. But post, so you need to have like around before 30 minutes again, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Okay, or so. Do not have anything which is rich in carbs. Okay, because if you land up eating something that is rich in carbs or have heavy meals before your workout, lethargy, sets in. So you really cannot work out or perform well when you work, just exercising at that time. So go in for something light. Maybe you can have a fruit smoothie, okay, or have fruits are the best options, or a glass of milk, or few nuts. If nothing to go, then nuts are always there. Okay, and post-workout, yes, post-workout concentrate on having good protein food, but because that will help you preserve muscle mass in your body. Okay, so good protein rich food if you really want. So when you're working out, you're stressing your muscles, right? So that's the whole mechanism that goes into gaining muscle mass. So you're stressing your muscle mass more. So a lot of the immunity factors, the cytokines which are released in our body, so that continuously works in our body and repairs the muscles which was stressed or which gets stressed during the time of exercise. So when that happens, you need to take in a lot of protein, external protein sources, so that the process inside becomes more effective and efficient.
That's nice. Okay, we have another question from Sindhura again. So she says, is chewing food for a long time necessary? I eat my food too fast, and I have heard people mentioning, we should chew our food for a long time.
Yes,
Is that true?
of course. So I just mentioned saying that listen to your stomach, right? Focus on what you're eating. So don't do mindless eating or just keep eating and without even savoring the taste of it, or just like try to whatever you've been eating. Just focus on the kind of nutrients that you've been getting, the kind of nourishment that you would get from eating so and so things. So have pre-knowledge about what you're eating. So that's one thing. And secondly, yes, you have to chew your food thoroughly. Okay, the longer the food stays in your mouth, the whatever the food that you be whatever you eaten earlier, takes some time to get digested. So that would have been getting digested, and then your stomach kind of feels full. Okay, so when you just gulp down the food quickly or try to eat quickly, finish your food quickly, you end up eating more. So when you're eating slowly, you chew your food thoroughly, your stomach takes a lot, that utilizes that time to digest. Okay, making you feel full. So it makes you eat a little lesser.
Okay. We have this whole opinion about rice, right? Like when we are dieting, we should not intake rice and things like that. So what do you say, like, especially for dinner, is rice recommended or not?
See, rice in general, the whole hype is created because of it being refined. Okay, if you're going in for unrefined rice, such as brown rice or red rice, which are relatively, which has more nutrients when compared to white rice, you can have it for your dinner as well. Okay, but if you're on your strict weight loss plan, then I wouldn't recommend rice for dinner. Stick to other whole grains. Okay, so because in the night your metabolism is low. Okay. So since it being low, whatever you eat, even if it's refined or unrefined, most of it, if the activity is very less post that, the food gets accumulated as fat. Okay, so you can have rice for lunch. Okay, going for that. And if you're having your dinner very early, or if you think you're really active post your dinner, then definitely yes.
Okay. So we have one more question. He says, I'm a runner and struggle to gain weight generally. So should I start increasing the amount of fat in my diet? What do you recommend?
Not just fats, but we need to be concentrating on all the three, the PFCs. Okay, so protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Try to have a balance of this, focusing more on your protein and your carbs. Okay, and then anyways, fats will find its own way there. So concentrate on increasing your carb and protein intake. Carbs mainly coming from healthy sources, healthy carbs or complex carbs, and proteins from your lean meats.
Okay.
So that's when you again follow a proper pre and post workout regime.
Okay. There's one more question. So it's from Neha. So she says during menses we nearly feel bloated and we put on 1 to 2 kgs of weight extra. So okay, so how do you avoid all this? Is there any way that nutrition can help?
Yes, of course. So during that time, what you can do is you can have a lot of liquids. Okay, lot of liquids that soothe your stomach. Okay, instead of producing a lot of acidity in our stomach, we don't feel like eating, we feel sluggish. So that's when you can incorporate a lot of foods, which liquid foods or foods which have a lot of antioxidant property in it.
Okay. So there's one person who says that his metabolism rate is like too high. Okay. So and what do you want to say something?
It's a boon to him. He can have a lot of anything and everything that he wishes to have, but in moderation.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so what do you think? Like, can we indulge a bowl of fruits, only a bowl of fruits for dinner? Is that recommended?
Definitely no. So like I mentioned earlier, fruits will only give you natural sugars, which is fructose and some amount of fiber, right? So but be it dinner or breakfast or lunch, it has to be balanced with good amount of protein, carbs, and fiber. So you're just concentrating on carbs and not fiber. I'm sorry, not protein or fats. So if you're just going in for a lot of sugar, that will get converted to fat too, right? So you need to be concentrating on good amount of protein. So if you're having fruits, then maybe you can incorporate some curds along with that, or some a bowl of salad along with that.
So it's like a lot of information. So are you ready for more questions, Aisha? I think we have, guys. If you have any questions, reminding you, you can just type it down in the below box, and you can have all your questions answered by Aisha today. Okay. So, do you see regular intake of tea and milk sugar, morning, afternoon, evening, has adverse impact in weight loss?
Okay, so first thing, when we're trying to plan a weight loss diet, we concentrate on balancing the pH levels. So when you're taking a lot of tea and coffee, it lowers the pH level, which puts you more on the acid, the high acid side. Okay, so concentrate, at least just have maybe 2 cups is sufficient. Okay, don't indulge in 3 or 4. That's a little too much. So and it also has caffeine. Like caffeine interferes with nutrient absorption. So if you're not getting sufficient nutrients, which will work on metabolizing that fat which is stored in the body, it's not going to work anymore. Even if you concentrate on eating very low calorie, low carb, or low fat food, right? It's going to be mindless today. So concentrate. Maybe you can just go for 2 cups of it. And before having tea, you can have a glass of water. First, drink a glass of water, and then maybe so that will kind of neutralize or balance the pH.
Okay. So in continuation with this, I have a question. What's your take on green tea? Like people nowadays are like going wild about green tea, right? So
okay, so green tea, it is a good source. It has a lot of antioxidants in it. Okay, so again, going in for a lot of it is harmful. Okay, 2 cups is sufficient. And do not include tea or coffee, be it green tea or be it normal tea or coffee. Do not include them right after your meal. So even green tea has certain amount of caffeine in it. So there's a set, level of caffeine intake for each person, like for that particular age groups. So you need to take in only that much amount. So if you are calculating the caffeine intake, if it happens, if it shouldn't be exceeding. So only 2 cups, I think. Again, if you're not having tea and coffee and just concentrating on green tea, then 2 cups, 2 to 3 cups would be max. Okay, 2 to 3 cups would be max. So otherwise, you can you can go in for 1 cup of green tea and 1 cup of normal chai.
okay, we have one interesting question which interests me. Is popcorn healthy for snacking?
Yes.
I normally snack on
Provided, yeah.
yeah.
Provided it is not coated with cheese or caramel sugar.
That's the difficult part.
So you can go in for normal air pop popcorns.
Okay, and what about momos? Is it healthy snacking too?
Momos, again, if it is steamed, it can be had because it has a lot of vegetables. And yes, momos are a healthy option provided it's not deep fried.
Okay, so there are many kinds of diets like only carb-free diet, blood group diet already out there. So are they good?
Those are outdated, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so all these diets are just concentrating on one particular nutrient. So I've been emphasizing on having a balanced meal, saying protein, carbs, fats, all these 3 things should be in adequate amounts. So if you're just concentrating on one particular nutrient and not the other, each nutrient has its own important role to play. So if one is missing out and you're skipping one, does not make sense. Your body's metabolism goes down. So even if you're following these fat diets like GM diet or any other diet, your body's metabolism goes down.
Okay. So, I mean, could you please just mention about certain foods, like which helps us boost metabolism?
Okay, first thing is you need to regularize your eating pattern. So if you eat every 2 to 3 hours, beginning with your early morning, then followed by breakfast, mid-morning, lunch, mid-evening snack, and then dinner. So at least 5 to 6 meals in a day will boost up your metabolism. So that way, every 2 hours you're eating something, you're not allowing your body to rest. Internally, it's not resting. It's working harder and harder to digest or burn that food. Okay, so that way, you kind of like keeping your body way too active, and it like uses that. So your metabolism automatically becomes high. So there's certain foods, yes, of course. Early in the morning, you can have lemon, honey in lukewarm water, lemon, honey, cinnamon, lukewarm water. These are well-known metabolism boosters. So they're not directly related to weight loss, but they're related to improving metabolism. So that's why people land up taking when they're on their weight loss program or anything, they land up drinking a lot of these. These are just metabolic boosters.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ayesha from HealthifyMe, our nutritionist. To mention it again to you all, please log on to www.healthifyme.com/no-pay to give us your no-pay resolution. And also, we have DIET30, that is exclusive 30% offer on all our prices and plans. So do visit our website, that is www.healthifyme.com/pricing, where you can check all our plans and pricing. And for those of you who are watching this video, you have 30% exclusive offer and only for 2 hours. Let me remind you guys, it's only for 2 hours, so just grab this offer right now. So, well, I know I can see a lot more questions here, but then, yes, if in case you guys are feeling that, the questions are not answered, you can always reach out to us on our toll-free number, that is 1-800-300-23184. And you can have a free consultation call by our experts, that's fitness experts, yoga expert, nutritionists. So we'll be waiting for your calls, and if you have a question, we have the answer. Well, guys, see you again with the next webinar, and see you all. Thank you.
Thank you.